I knew it was true.
Wait, sorry, it's a straight white male. There. Oh,
Well,
nearly.
well,
Wait, is that one DNA based? Yeah, it's DNA based now, right? Yeah.
Well, and they
Now
act
you
like
get rid of that
vaccination.
the terrorism gene.
Oh yeah, that's what we need to do.
it's actually a common misconception. It's a colonialism gene.
That's true.
It's our imperialist instinct.
You can't stop it.
Sorry, Jeff. Sorry, Jeff.
No, it's all
Go
good.
ahead.
But I don't know. I mean, I hear a lot of arguments too that it's the norm that, oh, well, you've already had to be vaccinated to go all these places. And, I mean, I guess it's true that, vaccinations are required for public school. Only
so we abolished the public school.
Yeah, right.
And I've heard also too, like, I've had them for getting a food handling card from the health department. You had to get one of the hepatitis shots twice.
Sure.
But outside of that, I've never seen it anywhere. No one's ever asked, show me your card to enter this establishment. Never anywhere has it been like this level of requirement has never existed anywhere for anything. So
tell us.
Go ahead.
I was going to say, so tell us why the LP is the answer, has the answers.
Why the LP has the answers?
Yeah.
We've been demonstrating it this whole conversation.
Because so what is your vision?
So
I mean, this is
we're
already a zone.
But we are, man, we're such a tiny entity trying to fight just a colossal opposition that I think it's comical to think that we are going to be able to stop this Titanic, like turn it around from the iceberg that it's doing its best to barrel itself towards. Right now, as far as the best, why one should become engaged with the Libertarian Party of Nevada is to connect with other like-minded individuals that have an appreciation for individual liberty and create networks and relationships and partnerships that can sustain us through these dark days that we're in and likely leading towards. People that when you need to make a bold decision that nobody else in your life is willing to support, that others, like, you have that support group there that's more than happy to cheer you on and support you in the decision that you've made regarding your own health. Because there's a lot of people in this state right now who just don't have that. Their families, their coworkers, their friends, like, people are losing friends left and right because of a decision that they've made regarding their own health. And that's insane. And there are plenty of people in the Libertarian Party who've been vaccinated. There are plenty of people who have not been vaccinated. Like, we come in all shapes and sizes. And as long as you don't want to force your will on anyone else, we are happy to have you here. And we're going to support you in the decisions that you make, no matter what those decisions are, unless it's trying to force your will on somebody else, in which case you can go fuck yourself.
Amen.
Well said, Mr. Chairman.
Thanks.
All right. So we're coming up almost to we're 50 minutes. So maybe we just wrap up. Anything else as far as like final thoughts, guys?
I want to do the worst stuff. Let's do the worst stuff.
Okay. All right.
You first then.
Off?
No, I want to go last.
You first. I want the button.
No, but I have the right answer.
I'm pretty sure I have the right answer.
No, your answer's wrong. Unless
then go
your
first.
answer's my answer.
Then go first.
Oh, well, we need to set it up. What's the prompt?
Yeah, what are we doing?
Randy?
Oh, well, pick something as far as like some government overreach, most egregious, something that's stuck in your mind maybe this week or in the recent past, as far as the most egregious government overreach, aside from COVID.
Right.
Yeah.
Wait.
So...
Does it need to be recent?
No.
Okay, thank God.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, that's a tough one because I had a couple that came to mind, and I'm really having a hard time just saying this is the one. But
I had 3 that rushed to mind,
and none of them are as good as mine.
All right. So why don't we go with you, Adam, and then Jeff, and then Charles. Since we'll defer to Charles.
I'll go last to embarrass y'all.
Go ahead, Adam.
Well, I was tempted to go with Waco just because it was such a shocking government overreach on, a bunch of nutty but essentially peaceful people, and they just went in and murdered them all.
Yeah.
And I
And the government
also
covered it up.
covered it
The
up,
government
lied
covered
about
up.
it as they do,
Yeah.
Okay, so one of the biggest problems there is there was zero accountability
for
for
sure.
it either, right? Oftentimes, when there is government overreach, eventually there's some sort of accountability that takes place.
But I didn't pick it. Quit jumping on my steam there, Charles.
Oh, sorry. Yes, sir.
And the other one I strongly considered was when the government rounded up 100,000 Japanese Americans and shoved them in internment camps, because that was also astonishingly egregious and it affected more people.
Mm-hmm.
But I ended up going for something that affected all Americans, even though nobody died. And that was when FDR made owning gold illegal for the populace, except for I think it was 5 ounces, which is some tiny amount, and for the politically connected who got exemptions. And that was the law of the land, which wreaked untold economic disaster until Gerald Ford of all people reversed it. So I'm going with FDR's gold thing. Even though it didn't kill a single person, it affected the entire body of the country, maybe the world. I mean,
It's like the metal version of the war on drugs, right? You
Right.
can't dig this thing out of the ground and possess it. You
Right.
can't grow this plant and possess it. Like, what an insane... Yeah, I mean...
for a supposedly free country, you're not allowed to own this metal.
Yeah.
Are you
Yeah.
crazy?
Yeah.
And we
That
just
is nuts.
rolled over for it. Sure, I guess.
Well, you know,
Well,
Pearl Harbor.
right,
We had to go fight the, you had to fight the Nazis and the Japanese.
We hadn't even got that far. This was 33, I believe.
Yeah.
It was just a
Oh,
Great
that's
Great
right.
Depression thing,
Oh, all right.
Fortunately,
And-
that immediately pulled us out of the Great Depression.
and it
Everybody
worked.
lived happily ever
It
after.
extended the Great Depression.
Right away.
Yeah, the Great Depression didn't end until after World War II, right? Is that that's the
46.
Yes.
Yeah.
After we've turned the rest of the industrialized world into dust, did we
Hey.
pull ourselves out of the Great Depression? So
Hey,
that
you
worked
should
out.
write. You should write a white paper. I think
Yeah.
start a.
Well, no. I don't want to give them any ideas, right? Because if ever there was a reason to go to war with China, that would be it, right? If we want to re-energize the American manufacturing sector, we just level all of China. And hey, guess what? Everybody's back to work.
Yeah,
I-
stop
this-
talking. The
I know.
the
I'm
neocons
sorry.
are listening. All right, Jeff, you're up.
Well, hey,
Nobody's
what's up,
listening.
Jeff?
I don't know. There have been so many things. You made me think because you were going way back, and I really wasn't thinking that far back. I guess if we're going back, the Indian Removal Act was actually pretty terrible. It is
Yep.
what it is. But also, too, I mean, all of our foreign interventions in the Middle East are terrible.
Yeah, I discounted war because the COVID restrictions. That's what we did to ourselves.
I mean, the countless number of lives lost that was completely unnecessary is extremely egregious.
Yep.
Yeah, I had those two. I was going to mention money too, because I mean, money is, I mean, if you have a monopoly on the currency and have a fiat currency, I mean, it pollutes everything. And half of what this government does wouldn't be possible if they didn't have, an ability to just print money out of thin air to accomplish their devious ends. So, but
All right.
yeah.
Well, yeah.
I,
If
don't
you
know. I
think
didn't give
about it,
it
that's
too
how
much thought. I was just kind of what I just came up with. So
they finance the war through inflating the currency.
well, and it pollutes
finance
everything.
those.
It picks winners and losers. I mean, it just it corrupts it's pretty much the corruption of capitalism. And so when you almost hear of everything that the left, has qualms with when it comes to capitalism, it's really all comes about because of the fiat monetary system and the cronyism that follows that. I mean, all gains in productivity are completely stolen from us. There's just it pollutes everything. It really does.
Yeah. All right. Good.
Those are all very fine, wrong answers. Okay, so
What do you got, Charles?
Yeah. So like Adam, I've come up with 3, and they're all baller. Ready? Okay, so the first would be the government ensconcing slavery into law and helping to enforce slavery. The reason I'm not going with this one, even though it is extremely egregious overreach is the fact that it is not unique to the United States government. It's something that was practiced globally for centuries. So it's sort of absurd to be like, well, look at what the United States government did. Whereas something like Waco or prevent, like a lot of these are unique to the horrendousness of the United States government. Um, Not only that, but there's also been a fair amount of accountability in a lot of ways for that, right? Like culturally, like we look back and recognize like, oh wow, that was really really shitty, and so it's not bringing attention to anything that people don't know already. The next would be the war on drugs, which we made reference to a moment ago. It's so insane to think that you're rounding up and locking people in cages because they happen to have a plant or a chemical that they decided to consume themselves. So, and we're talking there something that impacts millions, tens of millions of people. Not just the people that are sitting in cages right now, but the families that were destroyed as a result of that. And then, but ultimately, those are also wrong. And I recognize that because the single most egregious overreach on the part of the United States government is conscription in all forms. You are essentially enslaving people so that they can go kill people until they die. Um, and that's just insane to me. Thank God we have moved away from that we've evolved past it. But I don't think that there's been a proper reckoning for the insanity that is the draft, and the many, many times that it's been employed. And so I will say that the most egregious the right answer to the question, what is the most egregious overreach on the part of the government, is it's the draft.